All right, market heroes, we are back. Now, obviously, last lesson was pretty sweet. At least for me, it was. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what to tell you. We showed you how you can have an absolute edge in the market with just a basic one standard deviation strangle. But a lot of people are saying, hey, there's plenty more strikes than just the 16 deltas, Stephen. Is the 16 delta or the expected move one standard deviation strangle the right one for us? So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that to see exactly, depending on what your risk levels are and how much money you want to make, what the best strikes are for you. Again, just to reiterate, a strangle, what is a strangle? It involves selling an out-of-the-money call and out-of-the-money put at the exact same time. So we're going to do it again. It's really important. Out-of-the-money put, out-of-the-money call. And again, this is the one standard deviation strangle, right? So we make money if prices fall between our short strikes, right? So we want them to be above our out of the money put and below our out of the money call, right? And we collect a credit for doing this, which increases our break evens, and we also make money if implied volatility decreases over time. What is implied volatility? Implied volatility is the expected move. Options are priced off the expected move. So if the expected move decreases over time, options value will decrease, thus we make money because we're selling it, right? So pretty simple. So let's get right to it. This is a really, really cool one. So again, most standard deviation strangles, right? The standard deviation strangle is the most basic strangle out there. You sell the 16 delta call and you sell the 16 delta put at the same time, out of the money call, out of the money put, and you're hoping that prices fall between them. Again, in a normal distribution curve setting, prices will fall within their expected move 68% of the time. That's why we sell 16 delta call and 16 delta put at the same time. That is the expected move. So selling the 16 delta call and 16 delta put at the same time to create a short strangle is just a bet on the expected move being overstated. And again, we sell the options because we know the expected move is overstated, so we're selling something that we know is expensive. But are the 16 delta put and call the most profitable for us? So what we did was did a little study for you guys. So same thing as last one, 2003 to present. So 14 and a half plus years of data every single day, depending on when you're watching this video, right? So we did it in SPY. So in the S&P 500 index ETF, where the data is the most easily available, and at the same time, it's the most liquid product in the world. So we know that the probabilities and the numbers associated with these strategies are going to be the most accurate, right? So guys, we did over 21,000 of these. 21,000 occurrences. So again, it's a big deal for us. We're not just curve fitting this. We did this in bull markets and bear markets, and again in bull markets. So this is a really big sample size for this. So what we did is every single day in the monthly expiration cycle, closest to 50 days when the actual trade happened, we sold the strangles with 5 deltas. 10 deltas, 16 deltas, 25, 30, and 40. So again, we talk a lot about the 16 delta strangle, but we also sold the 5 delta strangle, which in this case is the 255, 219. We also sold the 10 deltas, right? So we find the 10 deltas, sell that, we go to the call side and we find the 10 deltas and we sell that. This would be an example of the 10 delta strangle. At the same time, we sold the 25s. So the closest one to the 25s is probably the 28s. And where's the 25? Bang. That would be an example. This would be an example right here. 250, 239. That would be an example of the 25 delta strangle. Here's an example. We have the 240 and the 250. That would be an example of the 30 delta strangle. And then finally, the 248 and the 244 would be an example of the 40 delta strangle. Now, if you look at these, obviously there's some things going on here. The closer the strikes, the more credit we receive. It doesn't mean that our break-evens are larger. In most cases, they're not, but we do receive more credit. So what we did with the studies, we didn't worry about high volatility, low volatility, or managing our winners at 50% of the credit we receive, because we know doing both of those will absolutely increase our performance. So we can take these trades, just putting it on and leaving there. One, because this took me like months to do this study, and two, we know that just taking what we have here, and number one, doing it when volatility is greater than average or the expected move is greater than average, as well as buying back the strangle for 50% of the credit received, will be better, right? So take what you see on the next page and the results of this, and know that doing them with, again, high volatility and managing our winners for 50% of max profit on this and this type of strategy, which again is a strangle, will be way more profitable. So there's a lot of data here, and I want to go through this, guys. I want to go through this kind of bit by bit. When we look at the 5 delta strangle, we're supposed to be right 90% of the time. Again, if we're selling a 5 delta call and 5 delta put, that gives us a 90% chance of making money. It turns out we're right 94% of the time. That's about a 4.44% improvement on what we're supposed to be. Not bad, right? We average about 58 cents per day. Hey, profitable strategy. Very profitable strategy. And you're right 94 times out of 100 without improving on it, right? Not bad. You can definitely sleep well at night doing that. You're not going to make a ton of money, but you can definitely sleep well at night doing that. Now let's look at the 10 delta call and put. We're supposed to be right 80% of the time. It turns out right 91% of the time. Not bad. That's a 12.5% improvement on what we're supposed to be. Right? We make about $1.12 per day. So that's about double profitability as the 5 delta call. Again, you're right 91 times out of 100 without improving on it. And obviously improving on it will make it a lot better, probably towards a 95, 96% probability. Now, getting in the 16 delta, which you guys know, we're right 81% of the time for $1.49 per day. But here's the fun part. Remember, the 25, 30, and 40 delta strangles, all we're doing is just collecting more, right? We have more risk because the probabilities aren't on our side as much as they are with the 5, 10, or the 16 delta calls and puts or strangles. However, you're supposed to be right 50% of the time in the 25 delta strangle. Turns out we're right 71% of the time. Guys, remember, this is over 14 and a half years of data doing this every single day. There's no curve fitting going on here. It's a 42% improvement. A 42% improvement on what it's supposed to be, right? We collect about $1.95 per day. So that's about a 33% improvement on the 16 delta strangle. If we go up to the 30 delta strangle, you're supposed to be right 40% of the time. This time we're right 62% of the time for about $2.05 a day. It's not a giant improvement. It's not a giant improvement on the 25 delta compound. However, you do make more money. However, it's only about a 10 cent per day improvement because there's a lot more risk. And then if we take the 40 delta strangle, right, which we collect the most credit for, you're supposed to be right 20% of the time. You're right 55% of the time. That's about a 275% improvement, and you make about $2.18 per day. Right? So again, this strategy works however you cut it. 5 delta strangle, 16 delta strangle, 40 delta strangle. It's a profitable strategy. Again, we did this over 14 and a half years of data, doing it every freaking day. So there's no curve fitting going on here. We did this in bear markets and bull markets. We did it every single day. But when I look at this, I look at the left side and go, yeah, being right 94% of the time and 91% of the time is great. I don't really make that much money though, right? Look, a lot of my students will take the 5 delta put and call, and they're going to be right 95 times out of 100 without even improving on it, right? So without even worrying about managing their winners, without worrying about doing high volatility. A lot of my market heroes just wake up every single day and do this. That's pretty good. Now, the 10 delta is definitely better. However, I kind of focus on the 16 delta strangle and the 25 delta strangle. The reason is because those give me about $1.50 to $2 a day. But if I go and get a little tighter to collect more credit, I'm not that much more profitable for the amount of risk that I'm going to take. So my sweet spot is somewhere between the 16 delta Strangle and the 25 Delta Strangle. Again, they outperform, they make you a lot of money every single day, and taking on more risk doesn't really give you a lot more reward, right? So you guys are free to take this however you like. Again, a lot of my students, a lot of market heroes that make 6 figures a year, even 7 figures a year, they sell the 5 Delta Strangle, right? But I also have success stories of students that sell the 40s, right? Because they want to collect more money. So again, guys, this is for you to see. My sweet spot is sometimes the 16 Delta Strangle and sometimes the 25 Delta Strangle. But again, it's completely up to you guys. I'll see you in the next video.